Are you a cloud architect or a solution architect and you're wondering which cloud to learn? If so, this video is for you. Hi, my name is Michael Gibbs and I'm the founder and CEO of Go Cloud Careers. And we're an organization that's dedicated towards building high-performance cloud computing and networking careers. Personally, I've been working in technology for over 25 years, and I've been helping others get their first tech job or get promoted in tech for 2 decades. And it's my absolute favorite thing in the world when one of my students calls me and says, "Guess what, Mike? I just got cloud hired." Today, we're going to talk about which cloud I should learn. And this is a question I get constantly from cloud architects and solution architects, and for good reason. There's a lot of good clouds out there. Customers are demanding hybrid clouds and multi-clouds. So the question of which cloud I should learn becomes really, really important. So in this video, we're going to discuss which cloud you should learn, which certifications you should get, and how to make learning the cloud simple. So to begin, let's talk about which cloud should I learn? And here's the key, all of them. What do I mean by all of them? The reality is customers want diversity in their clouds. They want to know that if AWS goes down, Azure's still up, or if Azure goes down, Google's still up. That's why we need to know all of the clouds. So which cloud should you learn? All of them. Now that's going to sound complicated, but it does not have to be. In fact, it's going to be so easy to learn all the clouds and become a great cloud architect or solution architect. We're going to show you how. But the point is you must know the cloud, not all of the clouds. So let's think about how you can learn the cloud and not each cloud independently. We all learn to drive, right? We learn to drive a car. They have a steering wheel, a key, a gear shift, etc. All cars have them. So if we truly understand that car and how to drive, it doesn't matter whether it's a Mercedes, a BMW, a Honda, Toyota, a Hyundai. They're all great cars and we can all drive them by learning to drive. So let's talk about how to learn all the clouds. Learn the infrastructure. So let's look at it this way. What do we do as cloud architects and as solution architects? We basically solve customers' problems with technology. And how do we do that? Mostly, we take the infrastructure from the network and the data center and we move it to the cloud. So if you learn the network and the data center, you know all clouds. I'll give you some examples. So in networking and data center world, we've been using virtualized servers or server virtualization for 2 decades now. And guess what? Server virtualization is what makes cloud computing possible. So in the data center, we were using VMware ESXi or KVM or QEMU on Linux. Now, guess what? We go to the cloud and AWS has their virtual machine called Elastic Compute Cloud. Google has their virtual machines called Compute Engine Instances, and Azure has their virtual machines called nothing other than an Azure Virtual Machine. So see, this is the same networking and data center tech going to the cloud. Now let's talk about storage, because in the data center we have storage and we have to move that storage to the cloud. Want to know all the clouds? Here's how you do it. Learn object storage. Learn how object storage works. Learn how to utilize the metadata. Learn what its use cases are. And then, whether it's AWS S3, Google Cloud Storage, or Microsoft Blob, guess what? It's the same object storage we've been using for decades. So, not a big deal. How about block storage? In the data center, we have these storage area networks with block storage. And in the cloud, they do too, because block storage can look and feel like a regular hard drive, even though it is not. So that's what we use to function as a pseudo hard drive in our cloud computing virtual machine environment. So let's look at it. If we go to AWS, they call it elastic block storage. But if we go to Google, they call it a persistent disk. And if we go to Azure, they call it an Azure managed disk. But guess what? It's the same. So going back to our outage of learning to drive, learn the technology and you'll be in good shape. Let's talk about some other infrastructure we use. Load balancers, for example. If it's an F5 load balancer in the data center, or an elastic load balancer in AWS, or a cloud load balancer in Google, or an Azure load balancer, guess what? They're functionally equivalent. So learn what is a load balancer and what is a network load balancer and application load balancer, and you know all the clouds. I'll give you one more that's not from the hardware side, because people like to say, Mike, you just love to talk about the network and the data center. So let's talk about databases. There are lots of relational databases and they've been around for decades. And whether we're using an Oracle database in the data center or MySQL in the data center or the cloud, guess what? It's still a database. But let's look at some cloud managed databases. Whether it be on Google and they call it Cloud SQL, whether it's on Amazon Aurora, or whether it's on the Azure database for MySQL, guess what? It's just a managed relational database, and they're so functionally similar and equivalent. Same thing with managed NoSQL databases, whether it is Cloud Bigtable on Google, Amazon DynamoDB, or Azure Cosmos DB, it's a fully managed NoSQL database. So, learn the cloud, not the name of a vendor service and how to configure it. If you're an architect, you're going to be designing systems and taking these systems from the network in the data center and move them to the cloud. So we can't do our job anyway if we don't know the network in the data center, because how do we move things that we don't understand? So instead of making this complicated, just learn the network in the data center and then you know the cloud. Learn how these services function in intimate depth, how they work, why they work, and how it benefits the organization. And presto, you're a multi-cloud architect and you know exactly what to do. Now the next question becomes is, which certification should I get? Well, the answer to this is it really depends. And we get certifications because we want to be able to have something on our resume that can help us get the interview. Now, certifications won't get us hired for any job. I'm going to make that clear again. Certifications will not get you hired, but they will get you an interview. And without the interview, you're not getting hired. So they are a critical piece to the equation. So which certification should you get? For most people, they should get the Azure Solutions Architect Expert or the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Professional. Why? These two cloud providers own the majority of the market share. And if you're brand new, it's good to get something that's more ubiquitous, that covers the greater end of the spectrum. Now, if you've been around for a long time, you might want to do the Google Professional Cloud Architect. I did, and I love it. I think it's a great certification. It's the only one that includes a little bit about architecture. Not a lot, but of the three, it's the only one that includes a little bit about architecture by giving you architectural case studies and then actually asking design. So it's not that I don't love the Google Professional Cloud Architect. I think it is a fantastic certification. But if you're new to technology and you're trying to plead your case to the hiring manager that you're good and competent when you lack experience, you want a lot more hiring managers, because not every hiring manager is willing to hire without experience. And our experience is about 1 in 3. If they like someone and love them, even if they have no experience, they're willing to hire them if they're the perfect candidate. So we need more people when you're new. So we recommend the Azure Solutions Architect Expert or the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Professional as your cloud certification, especially if you're coming from the beginning. So what did we talk about today? Learn the cloud the same way you learn to drive. You get in a car, you learn what is the steering wheel. You learn what is the key, you learn what is the accelerator, what is the brake, the turn signals, etc., wherever that, and you can drive any car. Now, if you tried to learn the car and say this is an elastic rotational directional changer, and somebody else called it the cloud directional rotational vector device, it's going to be really hard for you to understand this. But if you just learn that it's a steering wheel and think of it as a steering wheel in all cars, you're always going to know how to drive and you're going to be great at it. So learn the cloud, not the name of a vendor service and how to configure them. Once you know what the technology is, you can easily map it to a vendor service and you'll always know what to design. You'll give your customers the best solution and you'll have the best career, because guess what? You'll be a multi-cloud architect. This is Michael Gibbs. I'm the founder and CEO of Go Cloud Architects and Go Cloud Careers, helping you build your best cloud architect or solutions architect career. See you in another video coming very soon. It was so nice having you join us for this video today. Let me tell you about some free services we do for the cloud community. Once per week, we actually have a free question and answer session live on YouTube, where you can come and ask us any questions you want about building your career related to cloud computing or networking, and we'll answer them in real time for you, because we want to get you to your goals. Several more times per week, we have guests from industry experts that I've known for decades, that are movers and shakers that have changed the world, that can give you information so you can build the best career. I invite them periodically. They are on my show. If there's a chance to do some free training on our channel, we'll do it live, because we want you to all to have the best skills for the best career. So please subscribe and hit the bell. I look forward to seeing you, and I look forward to assisting you in your technology career. Thank you so much. This is Michael Gibbs from Go Cloud Architects.